Windsor Park, the stadium, that's a real blow that the stadium has to come down. But the IFA, listening to Patrick Nelson, he's saying they're confident that they're going to have the ground in some sort of decent shape, that you're going to have a good crowd for the match against Romania. I would say playing at Windsor Park is vital, isn't it, really?
Well, it is, yeah. I think I was involved in a lot of those discussions, and you know, I think, to be fair to Patrick and the IFA board, they handled the situation very, very well. You know, it's very easy. People always want to criticise, but ultimately, like, it's not their fault that the stand fell into disrepair as it has done. I think that what we'll end up with is a fantastic national stadium, which is going to be great for football here in Northern Ireland. And I think that the game in Romania, as I understand it, will be virtually close to the same capacity that we had for the Finland game. I think they are going to be able to utilise parts of the new development. So I think in the long run, what's happened may work out for the best in terms of the whole development of the stadium, and I think that's important. And you know, we just have to focus on really what's happening on the pitch. The new pitch at the National Stadium is fantastic. You know, the players really enjoy playing on it. I think it'll be set up for a great game against a very, very good Romanian team. And even though there's only 10,000 people in the stadium, it's a fantastic atmosphere. It really is, and we just need to make sure that we still maintain that within the fans, and you know, they've been hugely important to us both home and away, and you know, the players will respond to that.
Romania won in Romania. You said you're missing a few players, but for long periods, you know, you gave them plenty. You know, would you be confident now when they come to Windsor Park that they're just not going to get it all their way?
Yeah, I would be. I think, you know, on the night, you know, we lost, I think, the first goal in about the 77th, 78th minute, and at that point in the game, we'd weathered a lot of pressure, but we'd had a couple of chances in the counter attack as well, and I just felt that on the night, you know, we didn't. You know, Evans wasn't available to us. Davis was a huge blow to us being out, and Jamie Ward was a huge blow, because Jamie is that player away from home that, you know, he turns when he's a great counter-attacking player, so he gives you that threat even when you're under pressure. Stephen gives you the ability to stay on the ball. His ability to retain the ball away from home when under pressure is second to none. So, you know, those were two huge blows for us to miss them from the team. And I felt that whilst we defended well, we didn't carry enough threat, and that was a major reason, I think, behind that. And, you know, I think that it'll be interesting to see how Romania approach the game, to be honest, because they're a good team. They didn't play particularly well against the Faroes at home and won 1-0. And I think that if we can make the game, you know, a little bit, not topsy-turvy, but a little bit competitive, and, you know, we make the game uncomfortable for them. They're going to want to come here and play and pass and keep the ball. We have to make life uncomfortable for them, play at the intensity that we have done in the previous two home games. And whilst they're strong favourites in terms of going on and winning the group, I thoroughly believe that we're capable of beating them here in Belfast.
So we can talk all the tactics we want, but almost we'll go back to our old Northern Ireland saying over the years, at Windsor Park, let's get stuck into them.
Yeah, well, to a certain, the difference is now you can't get stuck in the same way.
The way you used to get stuck in it, or Jimmy Nick used to get stuck in it.
So you have to be. It's more about the intensity of how you press and run. You know, like we you know, in the last campaign, for example, we had poor discipline. You know, we had 23 bookings and 3 red cards, and yet we were the team in Europe that committed the third fewest fouls. Only Germany and Spain committed fewer fouls than us. So yet we were penalised very heavily for the fouls that we committed. And equally on the other side of that, we were the team in Europe that got the fewest number of fouls. So all of those things are important. The team are growing, the team are learning, because, you know, set pieces are a huge part of the game. We've been very good in set pieces in this campaign in terms of utilising them to get ahead in games. And, you know, if you don't get corners, you don't get free kicks, then you don't get those opportunities. So this team, I think, is now adapting to what's required at international football and what you need to get results. And as I say, what we've done in the first half of the campaign, we just have to replicate it, or even, you know, better it in the second half of the campaign.
Now, we've got several home games. There's going to be a lot of twists and turns before it's all decided, but I think you'd have to agree that it's in our own hands. You know, Northern Ireland have never had a better chance, and, you know, and if things work out our way, we could easily be in the European Championships, which would be a fantastic achievement. You'd be delighted for that on a personal level, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it would be a great achievement, I think, for everyone concerned. You know, I think that normally when countries plan for this. They set down, the Germans, for example, when it came to the World Cup, had an 8-year plan or something. We've not really had that, if the truth be told. But what we've managed to
more
do,
like an 8-week plan.
We've managed to
That's
get
just to sort the stadium.
we've managed to get the players really focused, and that's been the key. But it's not. I just want to see this group of players get something at the end of it. For me, to see the likes of Aaron Hughes get to a final would be a huge thing for me. A player that has given basically his whole career to Northern Ireland, and some great players have never got to finals. Like Healy, for example, is a player that never got the chance to go to the finals, and it comes in different eras. And some players who, it's all about time in international football. You can be there in the right place at the right time, and you maybe don't get that many caps, but you actually get the chance to play in a major tournament, which happened with some players in '82 and '86. But the likes of Aaron, that has never had that chance and has maybe gone close once or twice, but never really been close enough. I would love personally to see him get that opportunity. And there's other players in that squad as well, but he's the one that was sort of, he's the elder statesman of the squad, so to speak. And I believe he'll be the first outfield player that we have that will get 100 caps. And also, as I say, it'd be great for him to get to major finals.
Yeah, a real legend, a gentleman. He just epitomises all that's good about it. Michael, you had a difficult run the first couple of years of the contract. Are you enjoying it now?
It's easier. It's a happier job when you're winning, and any manager will tell you that. And I didn't not enjoy the first 2 years. It was difficult for me when I took the job. I think at the time I was 42. I was something like the third youngest head coach in Europe, or manager, whatever title you choose to give yourself. And so until you do an international job, you never really know what it's like. And any manager that's been in that position will tell you exactly the same. So, I struggled with the preparation when I had everything planned on what I wanted to do for every game. And then you spend the 24, 48 hours before you meet fighting fires, and so your preparation then sort of goes out the window a little bit, and I still prepare very detailed preparation, but I'm probably a lot more prepared now in terms of how to deal with the different little situations, what's important, what's not important. And the key is get your team on the pitch, your strongest team on the pitch, by whatever method that takes, and that's pretty much what I've focused on. And it has been enjoyable. I've really enjoyed the whole time that I've been at the IFA. I have enjoyed working at the IFA. I've enjoyed working with, trying to implement with the younger players. Stephen Robinson's been a huge help to me. Getting Jim in the performance director's role was a huge bonus as well. Now the likes of David Healy been in and around it, and the people that we have in working with the teams, working with the squads, and just seeing young lads. I've had the pleasure of going and watching. Our under-17s recently played in Holland, and we have a young striker, Shane Lavery, and he was fantastic in the game. Scored a goal. We drew one each with Holland, and their team's littered with players from Ajax, Manchester United, Manchester City, all the top teams across Holland and across England and Europe. And we have these young Northern Ireland players who are on the day, we're able to compete with that. And that goes down to all the preparation and work that's gone in. And it's seeing those young players and thinking, well, like, Shane Lavery, who's to say that in 2 or 3 years' time he's not going to be, representing Northern Ireland at senior international level as well.
31 caps for Northern Ireland. Yeah, I was just looking through the records. You've almost as many clubs as caps when you look at all the clubs you were through, and we interviewed you many times over the years. If you did get the European Championship, would that be the greatest personal achievement for yourself?
Yeah, I think it was. The biggest disappointment for me was not getting 50 caps, because I was in well over 50 squads, and probably the thing that killed me, Gillespie and Hughes killed me, really. They came along at a time, and Keith got over 80, and I think Hughesy was close to nearly 80, so they could have probably given me 10 each, and it wouldn't have hindered them too much. But when players come along at that time, sometimes then you miss out and you don't play as often. And I played at such a young age, at 18, and it just seemed so easy to come and play international football. And I was playing with Whiteside, McCreary, people like that there. And then as my career developed and progressed, it became harder for me to play international football. It was harder for me to get caps and harder for me to get in the team. But I always look back on, the squads and the time I spent with the international squad you know, favourably. I loved coming away and I loved being around it, and I still see all the people now when I go to games and I see people or people that you played with, and you always reflect on the times that you had. But you know, as I say, it would certainly make up for not getting 50 caps for me. It would make up if we could get the team to France.
Michael, it's an absolute pleasure, but I wish you all the very, very best. Good luck, listen. Hopefully we'll make it there.
Thank you.
Thank you.